haven't read that statistic, and I probably saw it at one time, and to be honest with you, I don't remember for sure. I do know that, though, supposedly like 25% of the people that go to Vietnam are in combat, so I mean, you got people that work in the motor pools, that are in dispensaries, administration, etc., so.
I'm presuming you probably lost a few people you were close to.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that at all?
Well, close to a couple of them for sure over in Vietnam in my unit that I was close to. One in particular was a Cuban refugee, and he came and joined up. I'm not really sure how that went through legally, but he did it. And him and I rotated. Like, I'd be on a Jeep one day, and then he'd be on the next day, machine gun Jeep. And then he went out and hit a mine and killed him right away. And what made him even more tragic was the fact that his they had sent a picture over of his child. He hadn't even seen it, but his wife gave birth to a child while he was over there, and he never got to see his kid. So, but and then another guy that I think about was you have good acquaintances. I'm not saying that they're all solid friends. I mean, everybody takes care of everybody, but another one, he got shot on I believe it was his last week or last day that he had to be out in the field. So he got shot and killed by a sniper. So,
in the kind of combat you were in, Jim, were you ever eyeball to eyeball with the enemy, or were they always concealed?
Well, that's a good question. They're concealed big time. But as far as eye to eye goes, when you're out there at night, like an ambush patrol, everything that moves or anything, you think it's somebody. But I know for sure, though, one of the occasions that we had to guard a culvert, and this was throughout a 24-hour period overnight. And the reason being is that about once a month, the Viet Cong or NVA, whichever, would come and they would blow it up. It was kind of a main thoroughfare, transportation route. And it was a culvert that they blow up, and that would stop the transportation for a period of time until it was reconstructed. And when we were setting up out there, it was late afternoon. You could still see okay, and there were a number of Viet Cong out, and I'm estimating it was probably quarter of a mile to a half a mile. You could still see the people, and they were visually watching us. And I mean, I just had this instinctive feeling that they were watching us for a purpose, And then what we do is the squad that's out there guarding the culvert, in each of the areas around in a circle, in a diameter circle, in a perimeter, you have like 3 people. And what you do, you go on for watching for 2 hours, and then you sleep for 4, and you rotate with the 3 people. And you have one flat sandbag that's out in front of you. And anyway, I was in the middle, and I was sleeping, and the guy to the left of me, he was sleeping, and the guy to the right of me, whose name is Robert Gardner, and I would love to, if anybody knows him, I'd like to get a hold of him. But anyway, and I have been unsuccessful. I've tried a number of times. But anyway, during the night, probably maybe around 10 or 12, somewhere in that vicinity, I heard this thud. And even though I was sleeping, I knew exactly what it was. It was a grenade. And the guy to the right of me, this Gardner, he yelled, "Grenade." And of course, we all knew it. And he jumped on top of me. And this grenade, I mean, this might be hard for people to believe, but it went off, my best estimate is probably a foot from my right foot. And I'm laying, which is crazy, but it did. And then he jumped on top of me, and it just did a real bad number on his legs and his lower body. And they had to evacuate him into the center. The guy that was to the left of me, it knocked him out, and they evacuated him into the center. And so that left me out there, to defend that particular part of the perimeter. So even though I had an M60 machine gun sitting in front of me, and even though they knew the location, you're typically taught not to shoot that unless it's necessary because it puts out a constant flash. And so I had an M79 there as well, and so I used the M79 with high explosive rounds and shot it into their vicinity, their by the trees.